Good evening and welcome to Reporters Corner. I'm Amritpal Singh. This is a show on which we talk to our reporters spread across the length and breadth of the country and seek reports from them for what the ground situation across the country is. Let's begin with our top story. A little while back, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the new COVID-19 testing facilities in Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata. He did that via video conferencing. These facilities will ramp up testing capacity across the country and help strengthen detection and treatment of disease in West Bengal, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Launching this throughput facilities, the Prime Minister said that these facilities will not only test COVID-19 cases, but in the post-COVID era also help in testing of hepatitis B and C, HIV, dengue and several other diseases.
हाईटेक लैब्स सिर्फ कोरोना टेस्टिंग तक ही सीमित रहने वाली नहीं है और ये बात बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। भविष्य में हेपेटाइटिस बी और सी, एचआईवी, डेंगू सहित अनेक बीमारियों की टेस्टिंग के लिए भी इन लैब्स में सुविधा उपलब्ध कराई जाएगी।
And Prime Minister Modi said due to right decisions taken at the right time, India is in a much better position than other countries in the fight against COVID-19.
देश में जिस तरह सही समय पर सही फैसले लिए गए, आज उसी का परिणाम है कि भारत अन्य देशों के मुकाबले काफी संभली हुई स्थिति में है। आज हमारे देश में कोरोना से होने वाली मृत्यु बड़े बड़े देशों के मुकाबले काफी कम है। वहीं हमारे यहां रिकवरी रेट अन्य देशों के मुकाबले बहुत ज्यादा है और दिनों दिन सुधार भी हो रहा है।
Prime Minister said that India has turned adversity into opportunity by now becoming a leading manufacturer of the world when it comes to PPE kits, N95 masks, ventilators, gowns, etc. Many of these things India wasn't producing when COVID hit us in January.
एक समय भारत में एक भी पीपीई किट नहीं बनती थी। आज भारत दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा पीपीई किट मैन्युफैक्चरर है। आज भारत में 3 लाख से ज्यादा N95 मास्क हर रोज बन रहे हैं। भारत में हर साल 3 लाख वेंटिलेटर बनाने की प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी विकसित हो चुकी है। सभी के इन सामूहिक प्रयासों की वजह से आज न सिर्फ लोगों का जीवन बच रहा है, बल्कि जो चीजें हम आयात करते थे, अब देश उनका एक्सपोर्टर बनने जा रहा है।
The Prime Minister said that the target of the government is to ramp up the health infrastructure in rural India.
जो हमारे पास गांव-गांव में डिस्पेंसरीज हैं, क्लिनिक हैं, उनको ज्यादा सक्षम भी बना रहा है। ये हमें इसलिए भी करना है ताकि हमारे गांवों में कोरोना से लड़ाई कमजोर न पड़े। अभी तक गांवों ने इसमें बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया है और इसके साथ ही हमें इस बात का ध्यान रखना है कि हमारे कोरोना योद्धा किसी तरह की थकान का शिकार न हो। हमें नए और रिटायर्ड जो भी प्रोफेशनल्स इस सेवा के लिए आगे आना चाहते हैं, ऐसे प्रोफेशनल्स को हेल्थ सिस्टम से जोड़ने के लिए भी लगातार काम करना होगा।
And my colleague Arun Sharma now joins us for more on that story. Arun, Today we've come to a day. When we started in January, we were conducting, I think, about 100 tests a day. Today, more than 5 lakh tests conducted in the past 24 hours. Today, when the Prime Minister launched this throughput testing facilities at these 3 centers in Noida, Kolkata and Mumbai, where does this take the country to?
Well, the idea of the government is to ramp up the testing facilities going forward, because more the testing facility, or you can say the testing facilities or the testing, is directly proportional to flattening of the COVID curve. So that's something the government is working upon. We know this fact that as of now, the government is testing close to, say, 500,000 tests are being done on a daily basis now. Now, government is targeting to increase this testing facilities or testing on a daily basis up to 1 million tests on a daily basis. So that's the reason why in the eastern part of the country, the western part of our country, northern part of the country, that's in NCR region, these throughput testing facilities are being installed. Now, just to simplify it for viewers, what exactly throughput means. Now, throughput means a single machine can churn out high number or high volumes of testing results on a single day. And if these single machines are installed in multiplicity, that means more machines are installed, at a single place. These machines in combinations can generate or can test the sample in a very high volume. So that's the kind of high-end technology that India is looking for as of now. We know this fact that you can say 2 things you can conclude with this testing facilities. Number one, going forward, the government is increasing the testing facilities or testing numbers on a daily basis. Second part is cost efficiency. Now, we know this fact that 3 to 4 months back, the cost of the tests were exorbitantly high. Now the testing costs have come down. Now, if you look at the testing cost as of now, today you can various institutions are coming out and they're coming out with the kits, be it IITs and various institutions are saying that the testing can be done at around 400 rupees to 600 rupees. Now, the ICMR tests, be it the RT-PCR or antigen test, the capping has been done below 2,500 rupees. So this gives a sense that now the cost of these testing facilities are gradually coming down. So this clearly gives a message that now government is creating an infrastructure, a better health infrastructure government is putting in place so that more number of tests can be done. The cost of tests can be brought down, so that's on the government agenda. And yes, as far as village infrastructure or primarily village healthcare infrastructure is concerned, that can be strengthened. That's on the government's radar as of now.
That's what the Prime Minister said, that he said that we are not just installing it for the COVID era, but post-COVID era, because these testing facilities will look at testing hepatitis B and C, dengue, HIV, and several other diseases.
That's right, Amrit. One thing that COVID has taught the entire world is that you should keep upgrading your health infrastructure. Your health infrastructure should not look your present scenario. Your health infrastructure should look to your future as well. That's what COVID has taught entire world. And that's the reason the throughput facilities are being installed or being created in Noida, in Mumbai, and of course in Kolkata. These are forward-looking. These are the futuristic labs that India is installing as of now. Not only tests related to COVID will be done over here. A test related to hepatitis B, hepatitis C, of course dengue for that matter, and various other diseases. The tests for that can be done in these high-end and high-tech advanced throughput testing centers by the ICMR. So idea is to ramp up your own facilities. So look at this way, Amrit. On one side, government is ensuring that as far as health equipments are concerned, we know this fact that with the PM CARES fund of 50,000 ventilators will be put in place. Government is targeting, or primarily as of now, India is manufacturing close to 5 lakh PPE kits on a daily basis. India is manufacturing close to 3 lakh N95 masks on a daily basis. Now, India is putting in place such a massive healthcare infrastructure so that 3 lakh ventilators can be produced or manufactured in a country on an annual basis. So that's the kind of health infrastructure government is putting in place, and numbers speak for themselves. Now look at the numbers, Amrit. Recovery rate of more than 64%. One of the finest recovery rate that India as a country is showing. Second important part is fatality. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi clearly said that each and every lives matter, and we do have to care for each and every life. But then yes, India is the only country which is showing such a less number of fatality rates globally. Less than 2.5%. It's around 2.3%. That's the fatality rate India is showing out of all the COVID cases. So this gives a sense of confidence that globally when entire world is combating the COVID crisis, India is putting in place a better healthcare infrastructure, number one. Second important part is better testing facilities, that's for sure. And number three, that's very much important. The government is ensuring that awareness can be created, better healthcare facilities can be created at the village level as well, so that these diseases do not enter in villages or tier 2, tier 3 towns. That's what the government is ensuring, an all-round kind of protection from the COVID and the post-COVID era as well.
All right, Arun, we leave it there. Many thanks for joining us and giving a perspective on the story about the Prime Minister launching the throughput testing facilities at 3 centres, that's Noida, Kolkata and Mumbai. The other big story of the day, the first 5 Rafale fighter jets took off today from France. They are expected to reach India on the 29th of July. Made with cutting-edge technology, the aircraft look absolutely sleek. It has been aptly termed as Beauty and the Beast. The 5 fighter jets will be operationalized at the Ambala Air Base in Squadron 17. Indian ambassador to France, Javed Ashraf, was present to see off the pilots.
The first 5 Rafale fighter jets today took off from France to reach India on July 29th. The 5 Rafale jets, piloted by Indian Air Force pilots, were seen off by India's ambassador to Paris, Javed Ashraf, who had earlier interacted with the pilots and crew and wished them a safe journey.
Air Force pilots tell us that these are extremely swift, nimble, versatile and very deadly aircraft. You might call them, they are both beauty and beast. They are superb flying machines being flown by the best pilots in the world. This is going to add a great deal of strength to our air power and defense preparedness, but it is also a powerful symbol of the strategic partnership between India and France.
These Rafale fighter jets will cover a distance of 7,000 kilometers from Mérignac in France to Ambala Air Force Base in India. There will be a brief stopover in UAE and the 5 supersonic jets will be refueled mid-air too. In Ambala, they will be operationalized on 29 July in 17 Squadron. Armed with Meteor and Scalp missiles, they give teeth and an edge to India over her adversaries. As per the contract signed in 2016, there are more than 10 customizations that India wanted that have been added as part of the weapons package. Dassault handed over the first Rafale fighter jet to India in October last year. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also flew aboard one. Nandita Dagar's report, DD News.
And for more on that story, I am joined by my colleague Nandita Dagar, who now joins us from the national capital. The Beauty and the Beast, Nandita, give us a sense of what do they add to the Indian arsenal, these 5 Rafale jets, because this Rafale deal was much talked about, went into controversy. The government went through it, said no, we are committed to ensuring the security of the country. So what does it mean when these 5, the first batch of these 5 jets arrive?
Yes, good evening, Amrit. More than one, the Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal Bhadoria, when he took over, and also the former Air Force Chiefs, all of them have called this, various strategic experts have called this what they call a game changer. And why is this a game changer? Because it is armed to the teeth and it will give India an edge over its adversaries. Apart from France, the only other countries which Dassault has sold this supersonic fighter jet to are Qatar and Egypt. And so India will only be the 3rd country to fly the Rafale. Our western neighbor Pakistan, our northern neighbor China do not have a fighter jet of this capability and of this class. The French have been supplying us fighter jets of French origin. The Air Force has been flying them from Tufanis to Misters to Jaguars to Mirages. Now this Rafale fighter jet is armed with Meteor beyond visual range missiles, which, to put it in a layman's language, means that the pilot in the cockpit of the Rafale need not even sight the fighter jet of the enemy and can down it, can shoot it down. Number 2, they are armed with Scalp missiles, which are air-to-ground missiles, and they can bust and blow to smithereens, enemy bunkers, enemy tanks, anything. So, and also the engine of the Rafale is capable of taking off in very thin atmospheres and at very high altitudes. So the Rafale can therefore take off from various air bases in Ladakh, including Leh and other air bases, which gives India a significant advantage. Also, Amrit, several India specific customizations, which are known as ISUs or India specific upgrades, have been made in this fighter jet. So it's completely customized to India's requirements, India's needs, and therefore, when last year Defence Minister Rajnath Singh flew a sortie aboard the Rafale, and the first Rafale was ceremonially handed over to him in October last year on the Air Force Day and auspicious day of Dussehra. Also, this is a very happy news to see the first 5 Rafales coming in. Of course, the entire batch of 36 will be able to, the delivery of that will be completed only by April 2022.
By when
Amrit?
Okay, and by when do these 5 Rafale aircraft land in India on the 29th of this month? By when do they come into operation? Say the ongoing tensions with China, can they be operationalized right away?
As soon as right away. Yes, you are right. Right away they can be operationalized. In fact, the Meteor and the Scalp missiles and the other guidance kits, precision guided munitions have already been delivered to India in the preceding months, and our pilots, our ground crew, our engineers have already trained last year, extensive training, comprehensive training on these weapons and other sensors and other systems, so they can be deployed right away. And yes, therefore this can be put to good use. India can show its teeth when it wants, and it will add an edge to India's dominance in air power.
All right, Nandita, we'll leave it there. Many thanks for joining us and giving us that update. Well, let's turn to Rajasthan. The political crisis brewing in Rajasthan. Rajasthan Governor Kalraj Mishra returned to the Ashok Gehlot-led government a cabinet note seeking an assembly session and sought additional information. This is the second time that the governor has returned the proposal and sought clarifications from the state government. The cabinet had sent a revised proposal to the governor for calling the assembly session from the 31st of July on Saturday, a day after he returned the government's first proposal. Meanwhile, Rajasthan High Court has dismissed a BJP MLA Madan Dilawar's writ petition questioning the Speaker's inaction on his complaint against merger of 6 BSP MLAs with the Congress. The petition was filed on Friday and was taken up for hearing by the court on Monday. The High Court dismissed the petition as the Speaker had passed the order on Dilawar's complaint. Dilawar had filed the complaint to the Speaker in March seeking disqualification of the legislators. In the writ petition on Friday, he had challenged the inaction of the Speaker for not taking decision on his complaint. Also, the Supreme Court today allowed the Rajasthan Assembly Speaker to withdraw his appeal against the High Court's order asking him to defer till July 24th the disqualification proceedings against Sachin Pilot and 18 Congress MLAs. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal, appearing for the Rajasthan Speaker, told the Apex Court that the Rajasthan High Court had passed a fresh order on Friday and they were weighing the legal options. The High Court had ordered on Friday maintenance of status quo on the disqualification notice issued by the Speaker to 19 dissident Congress MLAs, including Sachin Pilot. And earlier, the Bahujan Samaj Party has issued a whip to 6 Rajasthan Assembly MLAs who had announced a loop with merger of the ruling Congress Party last year to vote against the Gehlot government in any proceedings of the House, including no confidence motion. A motion, a signed communication by the BSP General Secretary on July 26 says that all 6 Rajasthan MLAs were elected on the election symbol of the BSP. For more on that story, I am joined by my colleague Dharmesh Bharti. Dharmesh, first of all, this governor has returned the cabinet note seeking an assembly session and has sought additional information. What has the governor really said on what points does he want additional information?
Amrit, absolutely correct. Governor has said that the assembly session can be called as per the constitutional provision and as per the laid down procedure. In fact, Governor has put forward 3 points for the government and has asked to deliberate upon. The first point is, before taking any decision regarding the convening of assembly session, the usual practice is a 21-day notice is given prior to the convening any kind of assembly session.
Okay.
And especially the Governor has said that in the situation of pandemic, when the movement is not so easy, how the MLAs would come and would join the session. So this is one point he has raised. The other important point is he has also asked to record the whole proceedings. If in any case you have any kind of confidence of vote is there, then as per the laid down procedure, as per the Supreme Court guideline, the whole procedure has to be recorded. And the third and the most important thing is, in this pandemic situation, how the 200 member of Legislative Assembly, 200 MLAs and more than 1,000 officials will be on duty, how the government will safeguard them, how will the government will ensure that the COVID-19 is not spread among the officials and among the MLAs, and how social distancing would be maintained in the assembly. So these are the points which Governor has asked the government to deliberate upon. Amrit.
Dharmesh, now this is the second time the governor has, given back the cabinet decision saying that the government should, he sought additional information and he's asked for a revised proposal. Now, what are your sources saying? What is the Gehlot government now looking at?
As far as Amrit, if you see the ongoing pandemic situation, if you see the condition of the assembly, it would be very difficult to maintain the social distance. So the governor, whatever issues has been raised by the governor, if you see in the right perspective, it is very true. Usually the seats are very nearby, and the governor has also asked that as per the Indian Constitution, Article 14, it is the basic right of every MLA to participate in that. So how government would ensure that the member of Legislative Assembly, they participate in the whole process and they can openly deliberate on social and political issues in this pandemic situation. And again, the governor has raised the very important issue regarding the confidence motion. As per the Supreme Court guideline and as per in the various cases, it has to be recorded and it has to be done as per the Supreme Court guideline. So the governor has, whatever issues governor has raised are in fact the various guidelines issued by the Supreme Court, and as in fact in the special cases, whenever the assembly session is convened, usually a justification is given. So the governor has, whatever governor has raised all these issues, these are in fact he has asked the government to clarify in all these issues. Amrit.
All right. Let's see where this politics goes. Now it's up to the Gehlot government. All eyes would be on the Gehlot government. Does it want to put out a fresh proposal? Will it heed to the governor's points, give an additional clarification? We'll keep tracking that story. Many thanks, Dharmesh Bharti, for joining us for the moment. And that's it in Reporters Corner for today. We'll be back tomorrow evening, same time with the show. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.